Hello, everyone out there in human MOOC land. This is Robin Bartoletti, and I am here to introduce Maha Al-Freih, and she's going to talk about the research that's going on behind the scenes during human MOOC. And we're really excited to have her working with us. She is an instructional systems design student, and she's working on her PhD at George Mason University. And we've got research that's focused on a couple of different things going on behind. So Maha, tell us what the purpose of the research is.
Hi, everyone. Well, the purpose of this research is to explore several things. So this research is, we're doing a design-based research kind of thing, which means that this is only one cycle of the research that we're doing. This first one is exploratory in nature. So what we're trying to do is to try and better understand how self-regulated learning, self-directed learning, how it relates to learners' persistence in MOOCs. And it's interesting because I've seen a couple of comments about self-directed learning in Twitter and in Canvas. So I think people do understand that it's important in MOOCs, given the informal nature of learning within that learning environment. And then we also want to evaluate the design of the human MOOC. So we want, based on whatever findings we have, kind of incorporate it into a second iteration or third one of this MOOC to improve the design. So that's the general idea.
So can you just talk a little bit more about self-regulated learning or self-directed learning and what that means to you as far as your research?
Okay, so for this research, I'm using this framework, the social cognitive framework of Zimmerman's. So it's basically a three-phase model that is cyclical in nature. And what this means is that self-regulated learning under this view is context-specific. So people have different levels of or varying degrees of self-regulated learning skills and processes that they use, but it also depends on the context. So you could show different levels of whatever skills you have in different contexts, depending on, it could be influenced by course design and influenced by environmental factor or other related issues. So this view looks at self-regulated learning as a process rather than a personality trait. And what this means, or the implications of this view on our research, is that using surveys or pre and post surveys that usually ask about, do you ask for help when you need support in a course, or those questions usually ask, and people answer them based on previous experiences that they had. And what we're trying to do here in this research is take the context-specific view of self-regulated learning, and the questions we ask are all related to the human MOOC. So for instance, we ask, what is your goal for this course? We do list specific goals related to this course. And this also means that whatever findings we have we can also incorporate it into the design because the questions we ask are related to that context. So I think that's an interesting way to look at self-regulated learning and a new way to look at it. And also the questions that we're going to be asking will be we will target different processes as they go through the course. So we have a pre-survey that asks about their goals and other things. Then we are going to use other data that we collect from Canvas to kind of look for evidence of performance processes, what they actually did to accomplish those goals. And then we're going to ask about reflective processes at the end. So we're targeting these processes as they occur in context.
So it sounds like it does have implications for the design. Any predictions?
I try not to predict because I truly want to understand better. And self-regulated learning has been explored widely in the literature, in the context of face-to-face formal learning. But we all know that it is different in MOOC. MOOC, when you learn in a MOOC, it's different, and you don't have the external incentives, like, you don't pay money to participate. There are a lot of things that are different that you cannot just assume because the literature says something in a different context that it's going to be the same. So I really don't know. I don't want to predict anything, honestly. Another thing that we're trying to do in this research is, since we're looking at persistence, and for those who are who read the literature on MOOCs, they know that persistence is not. We cannot apply our traditional understanding of persistence in formal courses to a MOOC because people come in, with different goals, and the literature tells us that most people actually join it for fun or just to explore. So we know that their purpose is not to finish the course, not everyone. So what we did here is we tried to look at persistence or define it within our own context. So like we talked about last time when we had the Google Hangout on badges, we said that we have badges and we encourage. Not only do we support, we encourage personalized learning. You choose your path. So if we're acknowledging it in the design, why not include it in? It's only logical to include it in the analysis, right? So for instance, in our research, what we're looking at, if you say you're in this course just to get one badge, so the social presence badge, let's say, and you come in the course, you do the assignments, and you get that badge, you are considered persistent. You do not have to finish the whole course. And usually the literature says because data are usually anonymized and other issues that make it hard, to look at individuals and how they did in the course. Usually what they do is they tell you, well, we had a 15% retention rate, but that does not mean that our MOOC is not good because we know that people don't. But they don't give you the actual breakdown of what's going. What we're doing is we're doing that. We ask at the beginning, what is your goal? Do you want to earn one badge, two badges, all of them, or you have other purpose? And then at the end, we are going to look at each of your goals, and we're going to see or measure persistence as it relates to your own goal. So I think that's an interesting way to look at it. Give us different insights about how learning happens and how people experience MOOCs.
I think that's very important information that we don't have a lot about. We put these rigorous definitions of persistence and retention on something that's totally different. It's totally different than your usual course, totally different than your normal college audience. So I think it's going to offer some very valuable insights onto, when we start to measure a MOOC, where we're even starting from. So it puts us to where we can get some actual real information about who is doing the work and what exactly they want to do, instead of the kind of artificial definition that we're using right now of retention that really goes with regular college courses.
Yeah. And another thing that I'm hoping, this research, the design of this research took a long time. It was a lot of work. A lot of work was put into it, so it's like my baby. But another issue with MOOC research is that usually, we have a pre-survey, a post-survey, and they're usually anonymous. So there's no way to link users to the data, which is a big, it's a privacy issue, confidentiality and all that, and I'm going to talk about how we address that in this research. But usually so they answer pre-surveys, people drop out, okay? So they drop out of the course. They're not going to come back just to answer your post-survey, right? So there is no way to see what what happened. Why did they drop out? We know they did, and we have the pre-survey, but there's no way to correlate or like understand their experience. So in this research, what we're trying to do is we have different sets of data. We have surveys. We have the self-regulated learning. It's called what it is called in the literature is microanalytics, because it addresses these processes as they occur. I haven't come across a research where they did it online like we're doing. It's usually done on, you know, one-to-one. So a researcher is sitting down with a participant and asking them questions as they go through something. So this is another thing that I'm really excited about. I want to see how it happens in MOOCs. But we have the survey, the microanalytics. We also have the social media postings and their interactions in Canvas and their assignments. So we have all these sets of data. And for people who, you know, start strong and answer the pre-survey, do a few assignments, and then just disappear, we will have a way to retrace their steps and create the story. You know, it's not just the pre-survey that we have more than that, and we have a way to link them together. So I think even if they drop out, we will still be able to extract some meaningful insights from, you know, the data that we have.
Yeah, the more you talk about it, the more excited I get about finding out exactly what's going to happen. You know, when you say that we will be able to see exactly what happens, even if someone doesn't finish, that has all kinds of implications for, well, what can we do so they will finish, or is their definition of finishing enough, or do we need to change that? So,
yeah, I wouldn't say exactly, but I would say we would have a better understanding, idea of what might have happened. Yeah. So, yeah, exciting. I'm excited about it.
You did all the heavy lifting. Do you want to talk about the IRB?
Yes. So we did get this research approved by IRB at George Mason University by the Institutional Review Board. So it was approved by them. It took me a few visits to them to actually understand it, because it is, MOOCs are different. You got the social media, you got this, you got that. And then they also say, well, you know, if you're not anonymizing, or if you're not like, if it's not like an anonymous survey, it could, like, you know, influence them to participate. And, you know, I tell them it's a badge, it's not like a formal course. And so there are a lot of issues that we had to talk about. So, but it passed. So it got approved by them, and I included, you know, you and Whitney. So we're the research team, and it all got approved. There are issues also that we had to think about, you know, because when you talk about social media, especially, you know, those that are public, the water gets a little murky. You know, ethical issues come up. So even if it's public, do you have the right as a researcher to just grab this data and analyze it? And, you know, in this research that we're doing, we will not analyze any of this data, even if it's publicly available, you know, on Twitter or blogs, or we will not use it in this this research if we do not get a consent from participants. So that is something that we thought about, and we think this is the right way to go about it. So that's the ethical issue that we struggled a little bit with. Yeah.
But you got it all figured out. It's really impressive how hard you worked to get everything put together, and the surveys. I bet there are going to be a lot of people who are interested in the results of this just for their own knowledge. You know, some of the questions that you ask on the surveys is interesting information to find out about yourself and to find out how you compare to other people.
Yeah.
You want to talk about the badge?
Yes. So I'm going to talk about participants' rights in this research. I just want to make it clear. Yeah, I just want to make it clear to everyone that they do not have to participate if they do not want to. They probably will get the survey by the end of this week. I don't know, maybe Friday or Saturday. They will receive an email. And before they can start the survey, they have to consent. So if they do not consent, we will not use any of their data. It will not affect it will not affect their participation in the human MOOC and the other badges that they will get, the social, cognitive, and instructor badges. It will not affect that. However, if you do participate in this research and you consent to it, you will receive a research participant badge from the human MOOC. And even if you consent to the pre-survey and then you later decide you do not want to participate anymore, you just let us know and opt out of the study, and all the data will be deleted. So nothing will be used. One thing that I want to be clear to our participants is that because we have different data sets, we have a lot of data going on here, reflecting from different sources. So we need a way to connect all these data together. The way we're going to do that is through emails. So these surveys not anonymous. We will receive, we will have the emails of participants, but what will happen is we will assign an ID to each email and then use that ID to connect the data. The code file with the ID to email, no one will have access to it. It's confidential. Only the research team will have access to that, and so it will be anonymized. But we need to link the data sources together, I think, and of course, if anyone has any question, any concern, any comment, we're available, on Twitter. I'm basically available 24/7. I literally woke up today. The first thing I did, turn off my alarm and human MOOC hashtag. That's what I did. So I'm always online. Probably answer within an hour. And email, Twitter, through Canvas. Yes. So I don't know. Any more questions? I don't know if I'm missing something, forgetting something.
No, you're good. So just tell us a little bit about you and where you came from and how you got interested in education and MOOCs in particular.
Yeah. So yes, I'm really interested in MOOCs. I've been participating in MOOCs since 2008. So from the early days, I started the program. Actually, when I started my program, I started in 2011. I was a little bit doubtful. Like I thought they will just disappear somehow, but they didn't. They became even stronger. I wonder why, but they're still here. And I was at the time I was in the Middle East, so I was in Saudi Arabia, and being able to connect with all those experts and and people, and I had a lot of connections, and I never finished a MOOC, honestly, I never did, but I see a lot of value in it, and I was just interested. I just wanted to learn more about it. I remember when I first started designing. This research design, it took me maybe 2 full semesters doing literature reviews and all that. And I remember when I first began, I was like, I don't want to do research on like the typical the X MOOCs. I want to do them on the C MOOCs because those are the real MOOCs, in my opinion. That's how it was. And I talked with a lot of people at George Mason, at conferences and everything, and I see the value in them too, but I still think that when we research MOOC, we need to take into account even those other purposes for participation, not just taking it and finishing it and submitting everything, because it's a different age right now, and so I think we're doing that with this research.
So, were you in ET MOOC?
Was I?
Were you in ET MOOC?
No.
Educational Technology MOOC?
No, I wasn't in that. No, the first one was Change Education, I think. Was it? I think it was that one. Maybe that was my first or second one. I can't remember. But yeah, I was in the early ones, and I was really excited about it. So I'm happy to see them flourish.
I don't think I have any more questions for you, but do you have anything, any other closing thoughts before we say goodnight to everyone?
Well, I'm thankful that you gave me this opportunity because I really I want the people who actually take time out of their day to participate in this research. I think they have the right to understand the value that they're adding to our understanding of how learning happens, and although there is not a direct value to them right now, there are no gift cards or anything, but we we will whatever insights we have, it will go back into the human MOOC, and hopefully by next time we will have some design interventions. Probably we will be able to test them, and although that would be like limited to the human MOOC, but with further research we can maybe come up with more global design propositions. So I'm just thankful. I just want to thank the people, and I want them to understand that they are not just participants, but they are part of the process.
That's great. Well, thank you so much, Maha. I'm sure that everyone is looking forward to taking the survey and participating. We're really, really glad that you're in with us and that you're doing the research. So I guess we'll sign off, and we'll see everyone at the next Hangout. Thank you.
Bye-bye.